Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Last week we were at Kala, and at one point in the weekend, our daughter Shalva did something that she shouldn't have done. No more details needed. It was regarding her younger brother. And when she realized what she'd done, it really upset her. She was really upset that she'd done it, and she said that she almost always does when she makes a mistake. And not all adults do this. She said, "I'm really sorry, Abba and Mama." And it was so sincere. It was so moving to hear her express that regret for her mistake. So in our Torah this week, we come to the end of a really long part that's been going on for weeks, which is the building of a tabernacle. It's wonderful. We're here in the foyer because we have our tapestry. So this is the tapestry where we are in the book of Exodus. Everything is ordered. They've built a tabernacle. It's beautiful. And it was just a few weeks ago that we were in the one before that, and that's a golden calf there at the bottom, when the people built the golden calf. And it didn't look so good for them just a few weeks ago. They had few commandments they weren't supposed to not follow. But the very first ones, number 1 and number 2, you shall have no other God but me, you shall make no other God in my image. They'd lost control, and they'd built the golden calf, and gone even worse than that. They'd worshipped it, and they'd completely gone into idolatry. And Moses had to come. If you see the golden calf in that tapestry, I'm sorry you can't see it online, it's in pieces, because when Moses saw it, he threw the tablets on the ground. He broke the golden calf, grinded it into powder, and made the children of Israel drink it because of how angry he was at them. And so they must have thought, how are we ever going to come back from this one? How are we ever going to be forgiven for this one? How are we going to make it right? And so Moses goes back up the mountain after that. The tablets are broken, the golden calf is turned into powder. And then Moses finally comes back down. And God has a deal for the people. And he says, this is what I want from you. I'd like you to build something else. I'd like you to build a house for me, a house for goodness. And you're going to honor me, you're going to honor your holidays, you're going to come together in this house. He says, you each have to give as much as you're moved. I'm not going to force you to give to this house. This has to come from your heart. And so the Torah counts, and the Midrash was astounded, they really gave. They gave more than enough. And they started to build this house. They gave so much that there was more than was needed. And Moses said, you have to stop giving. And they went about and they built it, and they used all their inspiration, and their hearts were open, and they built this beautiful house. At the very end, this is our Parsha. Moses opens up the books, and he says, okay, well, 200 talents of gold were spent on this part, and 100 were spent on this part, and 50 on this part. And they say, well, why did Moses open up the books? Because the people, they wanted to know that the gold that they'd given was accepted by God, that God cared enough to take everything they'd given. And it wasn't just the gold, but they're asking for forgiveness to what was in their heart. God, they wanted that to know. And so Moses said, yes, we use all of it. Everything that you guys gave out of your heart, all of it was accepted as part of it. And the Zohar says that every piece, it was like something they worked on themselves. They were trying to work through that part of them that failed at the golden calf. And then as they were inspired, they created the moldings, they built every part. And then Moses came and he started to build it together. And there's this beautiful part, and it's reflected in Barrett's tapestry, the order and the harmony of it, where they come together, and it says in the Parsha, everything that God commanded, they did exactly as God was commanded. They built the utensils exactly as God was commanded. They put together the sockets exactly as God commanded. Even the Bigdei Kahuna, the clothes of the high priest, they all built exactly as said. But we can say at the end, when we get to this last one, them in the tabernacle, and then we have the next tapestry where they're dancing, and the tabernacle is at the bottom there, symbolizing it's amongst them. And that was saying that they were, not only was God amongst them, but they were forgiven. What they'd done a few tapestries before, a few columns before was forgiven. And so we all make mistakes, but maybe the Torah spends so much time in the Torah to talk about this because they know this is the way we human beings operate. We make mistakes, we go the wrong way, but then there's always that chance to come back and to come back up. And if one does it, then one receives that grace and that love. If we do with open hearts and minds and inspiration, then we can really accomplish something that's even maybe beyond what was originally intended. In the end, what else did God want from them all along but to get to that place of the house and the tapestry? Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.